Let's look at managing environments that you've created in Reclaim Cloud. When you first log in, you'll see all of your environments listed here. One great way to categorize them is using environment groups. In the top left here, you can expand this drop-down menu to find all of your groups and switch between them. In addition to your own groups, you'll also have a list of users that have shared environments with you as well. You can also filter environments by region. If I click a specific group, I only see environments in that group. Groups also have a parent-child relationship, allowing you to create deep categorization of your projects. Edit a group here and add any environments to that group that you'd like. If you want to go back to the full list, just click directly on the main Env Groups button to display all. These groups also show up as tags in the main user interface that you can click to display only environments inside of that group. Now let's look at how environments are managed here. I have a few applications installed here, and we can see the display name, environment URL, the region identified by a flag, the current status, tags, which show our different environment groups, and resource usage, both disk storage space utilized, as well as the number of cloudlets in use and the maximum amount of cloudlets that we've allowed it to dynamically scale to. Moving our mouse over an environment, we see options to open the project in a browser, adjust the settings for this environment, change the structure or topology of the environment, for example, adding additional disk space or a load balancer, cloning the environment, stopping it if the status is running, and deleting the environment. If we click the arrow to the left of the environment, we can also see all the nodes that make up this environment and help our application to run. In some cases, like with this Docker application, I have a single node running. It's just a Docker server. In others, like this advanced WordPress cluster, I have 7 different nodes in 4 different groups, a load balancer, 2 application servers, 3 database nodes in a cluster, and network-attached storage underneath all of it. You'll see that each node provides tags with versions of the software running on it, as well as resource usage for that particular node and group. For each group, as well as each individual node, if we move our mouse over it, we will again get a menu of options to interact with the node. Let's look at each of those in detail. For web servers and load balances, we again see the option to open it in a browser. This next icon is for add-ons, which allow you to install additional functionality for a particular node. It's dependent on what node you're running, what will display here. All nodes can have an environment scheduler to allow you to schedule hibernation periods for a particular node. Load balancers and web servers support Let's Encrypt for free auto-provisioned SSL certificates, which can be really useful if you're using a custom domain. Other add-ons here will add functionality depending on what you're running, and so it's worth exploring. The next icon is for restarting a node. You can restart individual nodes or a whole group of nodes. When selecting as a group, Reclaim Cloud gives you the option to restart all nodes in that group simultaneously, or allow for a graceful restart by executing it sequentially with a delay to avoid downtime. Restarting nodes is often necessary if you've edited configuration files for the software running on the node, for example, an Nginx configuration. The wrench icon provides quick access to configuration files like that, so you don't have to hunt around on a server looking for where they're stored. The list here will have some common ones across all nodes, as well as ones specific to whatever node engine you're running. This is also a quick way to edit any file on the server and access a web-based file manager. In a clustered environment, this interface will also provide the option to update the same configuration file for all nodes within that clustered group. Moving along, we have logs for quick access to error reporting of the application running on that node. Reclaim Cloud has resource monitoring built in that you can access here on a per node and node group basis. It's a great way to get historical insight into the resource usage of particular nodes. A web-based SSH console is provided for all nodes, allowing you to quickly run command line arguments on that node. This icon represents redeploying a node and is primarily used when you want to update a tag and therefore the underlying version of the software that's running on the node. You can redeploy while keeping volume data, and you can do that gracefully in a cluster, again with multiple nodes to avoid that downtime when redeploying to a new version. And finally, the gear icon gives you access to additional options like direct SFTP and SSH information for a particular node to allow you to interact remotely with it using your own terminal. To do that, you'll want to make sure that you have an SSH key pair generated and that you've uploaded the public key to your profile. For node groups, you'll also see options here for updating Docker environment variables, links, volumes, and entry points.